Peter Dinklage has been in the news a couple times in the last few months, probably most notably when he decided to say that Disney's remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's just not okay because how dare you depict dwarves like that? And as a response, basically the entire dwarf acting community, which isn't a very big one, literally or figuratively, they had a big problem with that because they're essentially taking some of the only roles they have and taking them away because Peter Dinklage decided that it's just not woke enough to have dwarves in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs anymore. Well, Peter Dinklage actually does have a movie coming out that is pretty big, and it made its debut. Now, it had a selective release in 2021 just to get ahead and be able to be eligible for the award season, but its big release was actually this weekend. It's Cyrano, and a lot of people are wondering what it would do in the box office. Well, unfortunately for Peter Dinklage, it's come up short, which I'm sure is a phrase he's very familiar with. Friday box office, Cyrano loses by much more than a nose with just $470,000 on opening night. And in fact, when we go and we look at the full chart, Cyrano's all the way down here at number 9. 1.4 million for the entire weekend. 1.4 million. Good enough for 9th place in the box office. And the entire idea that Peter Dinklage is in this movie is kind of nuts. Cyrano is supposed to be about a dude who has a really massive nose, a really long nose. And instead, they switched it to someone with dwarfism. Like, that's his thing that makes it uncomfortable and weird for him to talk to people or for people to talk to him. That's what they did with Cyrano. And it's just so funny that after all the virtue signaling, after all of this, that the very next thing that Peter Dinklage comes out and does just absolutely flops. Now, to be fair to it only released in 800 theaters. 800 theaters, that's it. But compare that to something that only released in 156 theaters. The Godfather, 50 years. That made $1 million. Only releasing in 156 theaters. Cyrano, 1.4 million with 800 theaters. What an absolute joke. It's this freaking thing has flopped. Cyrano is a joke. Peter Dinklage is a joke, and it couldn't have happened to a better person. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.